Hello everyone, you're watching Let's Talk About Prepping. I'm Tyler, your host, and this video will be a garden update. Been meaning to do one of these, and old school prepper lit the fire under my butt. So we're going to walk around and look at some of what I got going on. We're going to start with the compost, because right now this is one of my most important projects, because I got enough food to get me through to next year, even if nothing I grow here turns out. But I want to make sure that my dirt is primed for next year. So I went ahead and threw some sticks that I had in here to get them starting to rot. What I have here is a garbage can full of leaves and cardboard bits and a lot of different food scraps. And that is basically getting my compost jump started. There are a few worms in there, but these buckets are where the worms are really at. I think it's about time to seal that up. And let me tell you, these worms are working. They're just going crazy in here. Moved them around and put some of the heavily occupied soil on top. Moved some of the leaves and food down underneath. But a couple of these buckets are actually probably less than a week away from needing to be resorted and had food added to them. I dug down through it and I'm mostly finding leaves and castings, not a lot of food left, which tells me they're really doing the job I want them to be doing. So, composting is going well. I'll probably have a good few gallons of worm castings here within the next month that I'll be able to add to the rest of my garden, or just start saving as prime organic soil. So, as you can see, I'm starting to get some sprouts. Some things are doing quite well. A lot of the things that need warmer weather just did not germinate, and that's why I've got a lot of seeds germinating in trays right now. But I've got a squash coming, got plenty of frost peas coming. Those are all beets. I'm gonna have to thin them out. Got an onion grown in there. That's just a food onion that will be sprouts next year. A lot more frosty peas, and my corn is starting to come up. Got some pumpkins that are coming up pretty well. Got a couple crates with a couple or 3 pumpkins in them. So we're gonna have a competition to see how big the pumpkins get, depending on how many plants are in a given container. So as you can see, I've got a few that are doing well with the corn, and I'm pretty excited to see what the difference is between the corn that is in the garden mix with manure and prime soil, and the corn that's planted in this kind of dirt, which is really just the sod that was torn up out of that corner over there. Got some radishes and watermelons coming up there. Some pumpkin, nasturtiums, radishes, watermelon, and we're into the buckets. I've got watermelon, beets, radishes, sunflowers. I think I've got a winter squash and a pumpkin coming up in a couple of these. Some corn in the end here. As you can see, around the edge of the fence, my sunflowers are coming up very nicely. Gonna have a very nice year for sunflowers, which is great. They're one of the things I want to see do really well this year. And into the buckets. Got some sunflowers in buckets, got some peas, a couple watermelons. That's gonna be pretty interesting to see what happens with a couple watermelons in buckets. I got a pea coming up today, a green bean. Tender green. Got sunflowers and radishes in the same bucket. We're going to see how that turns out. Got corn, sunflower. My jalapenos and habaneros have not popped. I don't think I've got a single pepper that's coming up. Oh, forgot to show you my watermelons coming up in the ground. That's going to be pretty exciting. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 sprouts that I can see. And all through here, I've got onion sets that are starting. And then around that edge there, I've got potatoes underground. Corn and beets, sunflower, corn, and that's going to be a flower of some kind, I think. Some of these I'm just throwing seeds into, and we're going to see what pops up. I think this one's actually got quite a variety. I think I threw some seeds that never germinated in there to see if they'd end up popping up. So, like I said, some of these are going to be variety grab bags. A lot of these buckets have carrots in them that I overseeded, and I'm just going to have been thinning quite vigorously. And we're into the spinach and kale, which again, I overseeded. But the great thing about some of these things is I'll be able to let them grow just enough that I can pick them as sprouts and let the rest grow to full maturity. And potato buckets. Potatoes are doing pretty well. I doubt you're going to be able to see much of that because I've reburied most of them. But I expect to have a lot of potatoes. So I've got a healthy row of frosty peas coming up, sunflowers over there, potatoes through here. Yeah, some of them just are not doing very well, but that's okay. I'm just gonna keep on planting until they take. Now, for a lot of you people, especially in the south, you're going to be saying it's way too late to be planting, but I've actually got a lot of neighbors who are starting their first planting because we just have not had many days over 70 degrees, and you're just going to see a lot of non-germination like I have. These are my volunteer onion plants. This kale is definitely going to need to be thinned. It's a little crazy. Kale does not mess around. Neither does spinach. And another row of sunflowers over there. I've got potatoes in the back corner. And a little bit of spinach and kale up front. And this whole row is mostly potatoes that have all taken well and put up sprouts that are getting reburied. So as you can see, I'm doing really well on some things, and some things just, these are all potatoes that are doing well, you just can't tell. But there are plenty of things that didn't germinate, and we're either going to need a rerun or try something else instead. Anyways, I'm pretty happy with how things are going. I definitely wish that some of the stuff would be growing or germinating more than it is, but all in all, I think the experiment's going well, and I'm going to be pretty happy with what I've got so far, and we'll see what else sprouts up. Hello, Odie. And then here we have my tray with all of my cocoa fiber transplant pods. And we have this old soil that I've been using to try to sprout. And actually a lot of the stuff that wasn't germinating just started. So that's pretty cool. I'll have some more stuff to throw into pots or into the garden. Anyways, that's where we're at. Wish me luck. I hope you're all doing well, and everybody stay safe out there. Odie's too fat for his doggy door now. It's a sad state of affairs.